Good Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome into the Philly AM Sports Show right here on the It's a Rap Sports Network. I'm Al. He's
I'm
still
Mike.
Mike. And it's 1 hour earlier in your brain, but it is 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, Eastern Standard Time, of course. Here on the It's a Rap Sports Network, we bring you the Philly AM Sports Show. Got a lot to talk about, believe it or not. We are on the precipice of legal tampering of the NFL, which Mike, to me, is still one of the most funniest oxymorons that has become such a important day in the NFL. Give the NFL credit. NFL, one thing they can do is they can make anything a spectacle, like, dropping the schedule for people for teams. Like, that becomes like must-watch TV, even though they leak 99% of it prior to it. And, of course, legal tampering. But Phillies or Eagles kind of taking care of some stuff at home right this moment. Rumors swirling around. Max Crosby is no longer a discussion for the Eagles at this point. World Baseball Classic is underway with some high-flying Kyle Schwarber bombs. America showing Great Britain still who's boss to this day. Flyers off a big win yesterday, so we're going to touch on all that this morning. But of course, we're going to jump right into your Philadelphia Eagles. Good morning, Rob. It's always a pleasure to see you. And Dave Yarnell are in early. Either he thinks it's early or it's later. I don't know what it is. I hate this. Will bother me for the next 3 days.
Yeah, it always does, don't it? And it always seems like when we lose an hour, we get up earlier, right? But when we gain that hour back later on in the year, it's like we oversleep. So it's like, I was kind of, it kind of got me up. I always set my alarm for like 6:45 on Sunday mornings, and literally it went from 6:45 to 8 o'clock, like that. So I was like, okay, all right, let's get ready for this.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get ready for this. Let's just start with the big news that's coming out there right now. And then we'll hit the rumors. Big news, the big signing. Remember, I was bringing this up. Is it better to trade him now before you have to and get some great return in it, or is it better off signing the man? Well, Howie Roseman, the Eagles, said, sign the man. That's right, Jordan Davis. He got a 3-year, $78 million contract, $65 million of it guaranteed. Makes him the highest paid nose tackle in NFL history. It keeps him under contract with the Philadelphia Eagles till 2029. Mike, good, bad. How do you feel about Jordan Davis?
Well, it's one thing less. I look at it as one thing less we have to worry about whether he's going to stay or go. Now he's cemented here. Next up now is they got to get Jalen Carter done, and from what I'm hearing from what his camp wants to where it's being reported, it's going to be a lot of money to sign him. I mean, I'm hearing anywhere upwards of 120 million to keep him on this team. 4 years, 120 million, which will be roughly about $30 million a year.
Which is pretty much all the cap room we have right this moment.
Right. So, but I mean, he does get a 5th-year option. So, they do have a couple of years to kind of work on that. But, Matty B brought up a good point the other night. And I don't like to give him his kudos because then the coffin arises. But, the Eagles should start really using this franchise tag a little bit more than what they do. They don't really like to use this franchise tag. But I feel like there's certain cases where they should.
Question: is the franchise tag, doesn't it hinder in some ways trading?
Well, I mean, it could, but I mean, if you're planning on keeping a guy and you want to get a deal done, it kind of helps you. It gives you more time to work out a deal, and I just don't think that the Eagles just never use it. And I'm glad what Davis got. I mean, it's going to keep him here. Now, the only problem is guys like Ajomo, who were kind of like they're falling into that mode of falling, coming up behind, playing with them like Milton Williams. Milton Williams kind of stood out. Milton Williams got paid. That's the only thing I'm kind of in fearful with. with losing a Jomo as well
Mhm.
later on down the line. Like there won't be enough money for a Jomo uh, to resign here. So I mean, Howie's got to draft well, and he's got to draft defensive line well, and I'm hoping he can do that. I did put a mock up for today. This is mock number 4, so there is I've seen in this latest mock I've actually gotten some pretty decent defensive linemen that maybe could come in and contribute. Um,
No, well, listen, we all know how he trenches, which has been part of the success of the Philadelphia Eagles over the last years. Defensive line, offensive line, both have questions to be answered, and Jalen Carter is one of the bigger ones on the defensive side. Do they, keep him, just let him ride it out and try to either franchise tag him as you just mentioned, or do they sign him? Um, does him being as good and um as a viable contract as high as it could be for him, does it make him a more likely trade piece? Because something's going to have to give at one point. I mean, we got a lot of big contracts on the books. We got big contracts to talk. We don't even thinking about Quinion. We're not even thinking about Coop at this point. Those are going to be 2 other large contracts coming about. I mean, did Howie already make his decision in his brain that we're not going um we're gonna have to trade one of our big names? And I thought we all thought maybe it wouldn't be Jalen Carter, but maybe it makes more sense for him to make Jalen Carter the move because it's going to cost you $30 million to keep him around. Now,
I don't
I'm
think
not saying that's the right thing or the wrong thing, but sometimes you got to make a tough decision, and is that the tough decision the Eagles could lean towards?
Well, listen, after this year, they can pretty much cut AJ Brown, and it's not going to be a $40 million cap hit. So, this is another
We'll
reason
talk
why.
about that shortly. Too.
Yeah, I mean, Maddie's got a bet going with one of our guys, Joe Hale, that if AJ Brown is on this team week 1, that Joe Hale gets to host the show for a week. So
a week.
A week. So
wow.
and I looked right at Maddie. I said,
Matt feels pretty. That's not a confidence bet I make right there. Sorry.
No, I wouldn't either. And I looked at him. I said, Maddie, I said, you might be losing your chair for a week.
Unless Maddie convinced Joe Howell into giving Maddie a vacation week.
Probably. But yeah.
The final word by Joe Hale. I tuned in for that. In for that.
So would I. And listen, I looked at him. I said, "Don't." I said this to him when I came on. You know how when I have the Flyers post game, I'll dip in to his to the final word. I'll dip in, let him know what I saw from the Flyers, what's coming up, and try to get the viewership to come over to that and watch it. So we do like a little crossover. And I told him, I said, "Man, don't." I said, "You're playing with fire on that one." Good morning, Elephant. But I said, "You're playing with fire." I said, because there's 40 million reasons why the Eagles need AJ Brown on this team this year. And
I'm just getting so tired. Like at this point, it's like I'm being more sarcastic when I say this, but I am so over hearing about AJ Brown, the Patriots, us staying going. He retweets or reposts something on Instagram about Jordan Davis, and everybody goes crazy about it. He's his teammate. All right, he is not the devil. He might be a diva, which can sound like that to some people, but he's not the devil. He is a teammate. He probably is happy for Jordan getting his payday. All the stuff people are putting out there. A lot of times it's Patriots fans. Oh, he don't want to work with Jalen Hurts. Maybe not. I don't know.
Listen, Patriots fans are going to say that because they want him up there. Because they have no wide receivers, and they're about to cut Stephon Diggs. Okay, once this legal year kicks in, Diggs is gone. But I think the reason why Diggs is gone is because of the emergence of the other 2 wide receivers they have up there. They kind of overshadowed Diggs last year.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is this: be careful what you wish for up there in New England, because right now AJ Brown's a Philadelphia Eagle, and until the New England Patriots pay what the Eagles want for him, you're not going to have AJ Brown. It's just that plain and simple.
little piece of. I don't think it's something that's talked about or noted. So the Eagles' biggest cap hits, top five currently. Well, say top four, because Dallas Goddard, if they sign him, that's still going to be a big question. But of course, Jalen Hurts is hitting that almost $32 million cap hit. Lane Johnson's hitting the $24 million cap hit. AJ Brown is $23.5 million, and then kind of drops off a little bit more to that $19.5 million for Jordan Mailata. All a bunch of guys that can see them restructuring. I mean, maybe they make AJ happy and he gets less of a cap hit and he gets a nice chunk of money up front. And again, like I'm just so over it. And I'll give you an example. I was going to cut it out. I'll just kind of give it to you. The other day on Friday, I was perusing the X, as we all call it, old Twitter for us old fellas here. And there's one guy that I have. I don't know. I've never really had I respect some of the stuff he does, but I really, for the most part, he's turning such a clickbait, rage bait, just says some things I don't even know if he believes half the time. Elliott Shore Parks, right?
Oh yeah, that dude, he's such a clown. He's a clown. I can't listen to him.
Yeah, he is. He's Howard Eskin, 2026. Like he's the new version. Like I think they took Howard, took a clone of him, like took some DNA, took him in the lab, and built their own monster. If AJ Brown wants to be traded to the Patriots or to the Patriots, the Eagles should make it happen for him. He helped them win a Super Bowl. He's been a huge part of the best run in franchise history. It is his childhood dream or childhood team. Would be a classy move by the organization. And what is all I have to say that? Just like I'm sorry, like I didn't know we're here to be like is the contract that he makes, the money that he makes, not enough to show gratitude? And let's roll it back, Elliott Shore Parks, for about just 8 seconds. The stupidity of this comment, this tweet. He also got restructured when they restructured Devontae Smith, right? He got a bump when Devontae got paid. So that's they only had to worry about paying Devontae because his rookie contract was coming up. They had to give him a bump to make him feel all tingly and nice all over. We have put up with his crap. I mean, we put up with as much crap as if you want to put up, he put up with much crap. We gave him an opportunity. Let me remind you, he was on the Tennessee goddamn Titans before he was here, right? What would he be doing right now if he stayed on the Titans? He would be sucking. He would have no playoffs, let alone Super Bowls under his belt. He barely would have the numbers that he have, even though Jalen Hurts isn't the flashy, 500-yard game, 4 touchdown a game kind of quarterback that people want him to be, like Josh Allen. Ask him where that's got him lately. But you're going to tell me we have to do the classy thing? How is it classy? That sounds, I'm going to use something that's spelled with SSY at the end of it, but it's not classy. You guys can figure it out. That's that kind of move to me. It is. What have we not done for him lately? Because that's my thing. It's not like he has, like, take Christopher Sanchez in the Phillies, right? They signed him to an amazing contract, and they got an ace pitcher for, like, pennies on the dollar, right? Mm-hmm. A classy move would be, all right, give him a better contract. Give him a bump. Give him a bonus. Give him something, whatever it is. I get that. That's a classy move by a guy who's been good to the organization. AJ Brown has been good to the organization. But you sign a contract. Am I wrong? When you take a job on, you're expected to do it to the best of your ability, right, Claro?
Listen. They gave him $100 million when they traded for him. Think about that. 4 years, $100 million. He was making $25 million a year. Okay? Then, like you said, they gave him a bump when they bumped up Devontae Smith. They gave him a bump again. So, listen, dude, you got 2 bumps in the 4 years that you've been here. So it's like every other year you're getting a bump in pay. Now, granted, could they do something else maybe to make him happy? Maybe turn some of that money into a signing bonus so he gets it. I get that. Okay, fine. But it doesn't equate his actions too. Like, I'm sorry, yes, I like AJ Brown. I think he's been probably one of the better wide receivers in Eagles history.
And he's going to
Okay.
be a huge loss. I don't care if you love him, hate him.
Yeah, and then when they move on
If he
from him,
took a little bit of a step backwards,
it
love him
it
or
will
hate him,
be it will
he is
be
he,
it will
he's a huge
be
loss.
right. It's a huge loss. I just want to touch on this comment right here with that Dave just had. It says Diggs has a lot of legal problems too. I believe that's why New England's releasing him. Yeah, Dave. The legal problems is one, but his production is another. Like, when have you ever known New England to be a high judge character place? I mean, like, they don't care as long as you play football. If New England is getting rid of you, it's because your production doesn't equate to your contract, and that's why they're getting rid of him. This one here, I'm going to address. Yeah, they can get a first round pick for him or a second round pick for him because that's the going rate for a number one wide receiver. So
Yeah.
yes, they can. They can get
Well,
that.
it was who the Jets deal. It's like Quinn Williams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got something like that, and you're telling me AJ Brown. Now AJ Brown's older. Other than that, I think he's got a better resume to want to give him more. I'm not sitting there telling you that a 1 and a 2 and a player is possible, but yeah, Howie's saying, and I like how he's handling this. In my eyes, he's saying, yeah, okay, you want me to grant him a trade? I'm not just granting him the trade to the Patriots because if I'm saying, okay, I'm only going to deal him the Patriots because I want to be all nicey and wishy washy to AJ Brown, you know what the Patriots are going to say? We'll give you a 5th round pick.
Yeah, exactly. Like
That's
if
what
the
they're going to
rate,
do.
yeah, and that's why look this is why I feel more strongly he's going to be on the field week 1 for the Eagles, and Matty B's going to have to give up his show for a week because again, if it doesn't make sense for the Eagles, Howie's not going to do it. You know what I
No.
mean? Like he's not just going to
And it
dump him.
should be that way because I hate to break it to you. When you sign a contract, that team owns the contract, right?
Yeah.
And just like you get certain amount of that money guaranteed, do you know the point of a contract? This is the point that people just it boggles my mind, right? It absolutely boggles my mind when people get to this. The point of a contract, right, is to protect both sides, to make sure both sides are getting the best of the best. Now, granted, you can have some weaselly, slick salesman on one side who could try to better it for themselves, and if you sign that contract without doing the appropriate due diligence, that's on you. But why should they give up an amazing bargaining piece, a blue chip player for nothing? For
Right.
absolutely
And
nothing
that's
because he likes them.
yeah,
He
and
wants
here's
to
the thing,
play for them.
and that's why you're hearing all the barking from the Patriots fans because they want the Eagles to trade AJ Brown for nothing. So,
Yeah,
uh,
it's if ESP is saying dumb stuff, he's not saying anything at all. The sweater vest is just a modern day tunic. You should never trust those who wear one.
yep.
Yes, elf in the room. I'm telling you, man. Like, and I know I knew what he was doing then, and I was kind of falling for it. But I've seen other people say that. I've seen people agree with him. He's been good to us. We should do that. We've been good to him. He was one of the most selling jerseys. So guess what? He gets a piece of those jerseys. Okay, he gets a piece of everything about him. He's got some big contracts, might I add, for advertisements on top of his stuff for the sports.
While
He,
playing here,
yeah,
while
while
playing
playing
here,
here, we like not that AJ Brown wasn't a big name before he got here. We gave him 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl win. I'm not saying he wasn't a big part of it, but how many times have we heard the defense won that game for us? Those guys were just, it was just too easy on them.
yeah,
So, in my eyes, you can't have it both ways. You can't say Jalen didn't earn it, but AJ did. So, he got something out of the deal too. He has done well for himself in this scenario. It has been definitely a two-way street. We've seen him dog some plays and people get over it because why? What do I always tell you? Winning cures all. When you win, you can get away with it. All right. He won. He can get away with it a little bit more if they were like the Phillies kind of continuously dropping at the finish line. But
well,
I
I'll
don't want
tell
to
you.
hear this classy move crap.
Well, I'll tell you what. If it's following a pattern, right, and this is the Sirianni pattern, then if I were you, I would lay money on the Eagles being the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. because it's been Super Bowl missed, Super
Yeah.
Bowl missed. So throw your eggs in the basket here, guys, because and Maddie can call me a homer all he wants.
Oh, he will.
But here's the thing: you can't argue with a track record. It's been that way for the last 5 years. You know what I mean? Yeah, there he is yelling at us. But I like this one. He said was AJ classy when he gave up in the playoffs. Hell no. Listen. He had a bad game in the playoffs, and he admitted that. He admitted he had a bad game. So I mean, I'm not going to hold him. Everybody has him.
I get Steve's point. I was on this train for a while too, saying like I'm very torn with the AJ scenario. Like if you can get a first and a second for him and unload without cap strapping yourself in some crazy way, then it might be worthwhile. Like don't get me wrong. Like if he's unhappy and he don't want to be here, and you can get a great king's ransom for it, then so be it. There's times that you have to give up on a player if there's a player, if he's unhappy for whatever reason, if the team's unhappy with him for whatever reason, or if it's just getting past his prime and you can still get him for prime real estate. That is just that's the nature of that beast. But to just trade him to New England because we want to make him happy, if we can make both sides happy, fine. I'm sure Howie would say, listen, if there's two of the same exact options that they're willing to take on the board, like say San Diego and say New England are offering a first and a second and a player, and that's exactly what Howie wants, and Howie's willing to take it, I'm sure he's going to say, fine, I'll take the New England one because I'm going to be good to AJ. But other than that, there's the only way it would happen. Okay. Yeah, he cut it short. He did not put it all out there. And you know what? He got caught. And my point is, like you said, he did stand up for it after it. He is that's the kind of guy he's an emotional roller coaster, right? Mm-hmm. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. He tries to sound like a captain. He acts like a diva all in the one fell swoop. Speaking of Steve again saying, even if he does come back, how can he wear the C on his jersey the way he represented himself in the Eagles last season? How will he react when that C is stripped from? I don't think they strip it from him, Steve, to be completely and utterly honest. Like, I don't see that happening. He could be a conundrum. It's like two sides of his coin there. Like, he goes on and goes, oh, I'm so happy with the team. I'm so happy, I didn't do my best. He sounds like, what Devontae Smith would sound like to us. And then other times he's doing stuff, he's tweeting stuff, he's saying stuff, he's being very, whatever. But he's just, that is what you deal with when, especially with, those skills players, wide receivers especially. A lot of them have that diva in them. Yeah. I think we were so spoiled, and it's so stark comparison, Mike Laro, with him and Devontae Smith.
Oh, yeah, total opposites. Al, I'm on Bet365 right now, right? I'm looking for the odds to get to the NFC title game, okay? For the Arizona Cardinals, they are last. Good morning, Mitch. They are last in the NFC to make it at 125-1, okay? Our Philadelphia Eagles are third in the NFC, along with Detroit. They have Detroit, the Packers, the Eagles, all at 7-1 to represent the NFC. The only teams ahead of them are the Rams at a plus 450 and the Seahawks at a 425. So basically, Vegas is telling you they're going to roll with the champions, which I don't see that happening.
I'm not, again, I feel like they've been looked past even all the way up to the Super Bowl. Seahawks, I would love to see how they manage post
Super Bowl, right? Exactly.
Super Bowl. And are they still trying to sell the team?
I don't know, but I know like Walker's a free agent this year. I think they lost their offensive coordinator. Their offensive coordinator, I believe, is going to Arizona.
Vegas. Oh, Arizona. I thought one of them was going to Vegas.
Oh, yeah, Vegas. That's what it is. Yeah, he's going to Vegas. All right. So, like, you have that leaving. So, let's see how they deal with that. I think the Rams probably will be the favorite by that. But I think here's one that's sneaky good. I'm not going to say that they're champions, but the Carolina Panthers, who made the postseason last year, are at 60-1 to win the they're 60-1 to win the NFC, to win the NFC. They're right there with the Saints. They're even with the Saints. I don't understand how you would think that they're not going to, I don't think they're going to drop off. They got Tampa Bay at a plus 20 or a plus 2,000, which is $20. So it's like 20-1. Cowboys are 16-1. And then you have the Bears and the Niners that are right behind the Eagles, Packers, and Lions.
Yeah.
San Fran's 10-1. Chicago's 14-1. Dallas is 16-1 odds to win. So I look at it like this. Like if you're looking like Super Bowl to win it outright, I think the Eagles are 14-1 odds.
Okay.
Right now. It goes the two Seattle and LA are 8-1. They have the Ravens at 1,000-1. Which I'm sorry, I don't say it. They have the Bills at 11-1. Don't see that either. And they got the Eagles at 14-1. Eagles are 14, Packers are 14, Kansas City's 14-1, Detroit's 14-1. LA Chargers and Patriots are 16-1 odds, and Denver, who won the AFC last year, is at 20-1 odds to win the Super Bowl. Like, come on. Like, this is why I say sometimes you got to look after the season.
I think a lot of times it's injuries, and are they able to strike again? Like, just because we all know, just because you made it there last year doesn't mean you're coming back next year.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I want to see some of these teams that I want to see New England with their harder schedule this year. I want to see Denver with their harder schedule.
That's the thing I think people look past so much, that how that schedule played out in their favor. And then, of course, you get to the playoffs and Denver, if it wasn't for having to play Stidham,
Yeah,
that was still a close game. That was still a close game. I mean, you went up a powerhouse in the Seahawks, who I always say they were the Eagles of last year or the year before. Just on all ground, really good team, great defense, really great offense. Just
and you know what's funny? My kid's a Giants fan, right? Which a lot of people know who my son is, but he's a Giants fan. And I said, ain't it funny? I said, Leonard Williams had to go out west to win the Super Bowl. I said, DeMarcus Lawrence, who played his entire career with the Cowboys, had to go west to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So that's why I kind of laugh at that, because it's like, okay.
Well, AJ Brown, what's his name? Barkley had to go to their rival to win anything. See what a playoff team looked like. Rob's still saying AJ is not going anywhere. The Eagles want too much for him. Listen,
good. I'm glad they want too much. He's their number one wide receiver. Like, you don't give away your number one wide receiver. You know who learned from that? Look at Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota had Diggs, got rid of him. Now, luckily, and this is the only time you can really kind of blame Howie for a screw up, is that he didn't take Justin Jefferson. Mm-hmm. So, he kind of fell into their lap. You know what I mean? But when they got rid of Diggs,
we put him in his lap.
Right.
Literally, we didn't just fall. We put a doily on their lap and handed them, and we said, no, we'll take Jalen Reagor.
Right. Exactly.
You guys can have Justin Jefferson.
Right. Which, by the way, he might be on the move too. So,
AJ Brown's not going anywhere because Eagles want too much. Rob, don't forget, if you're asking for a first, second, and a player, they're not. I don't think he even expects to get that. That's just that's what it's like haggling at that point. The used car salesman wants $20,000 for the car. You don't want to spend more than $15,000, and they'll meet in the middle somewhere. If AJ, Steve's back here. If AJ is on the Eagles roster in 2026, the narrative all season will be how AJ is feeling week in the week out. It's the talk. It's all the talk off season, and that's the problem. I agree with him. Like, every time, it's always about AJ Brown. If it's during the season, then a trade deadline during the season comes up. Do they trade AJ? Because that was always a conversation. This, that, and the other. I'm over it too, Steve. I'm way over it. Well, I'm over the diva aspect of it, but I'm also not over just.
Listen, when they go
pennies
back,
on the dollar.
Right. When they go back to, I got a feeling that they're going to go. It just kind of plays out like that, and we can even take a look at their schedule too. So again, let him. I could say maybe next offseason they'll move on from him and trade him.
Mm-hmm.
They could, but if he rolls out and does, if the Eagles get back to the Super Bowl and knock on wood, if they win a Super Bowl, now he's a two-time champion within the last 4 years. Now you don't think he's not going to get nothing for him? I mean, come on, like
Yeah.
stop. Like you guys got to really think about the time and presence, and you got to look at the history going
And
back.
and this might be worth more to the Eagles in a sense, saying, I want to take one more run with this wide receiver course. And again, I keep bringing back the Sean Mannion part of the situation. Like Sean Mannion came in here with a whole spread sheet and slideshow of how he can improve what we have and he can make this a winning team and whatever it was, blew Howie and the Eagles organization away, which I'm hopeful that it's true. I'm hopeful that it's true. You don't tell me AJ Brown's not a big part of that.
Right, that's what I'm
Hey,
saying.
we can help make AJ happy.
Listen,
We can get him in the position to make more yardage, and he's going to help the team. And like you said, I agree with you. Maybe in their eyes, it's unless you're offering me a 1 and a 2 and a player, I don't want to hear it because I want to run it back with him if I can this time. And if we don't do it next year, or we do it next year, either
give us a
way,
call. Give us a call.
and you're not going to pay, the 1 and 2 and a player. Maybe we'll take a 2 and a 7, like something like that.
Yeah,
At that point, if with another Super Bowl under their belt, they'd be
yeah,
more than welcome to do it. And Alvin,
right.
I agree with this one right here. Um, I know a certain guy who lays in a coffin, loves himself some Drake May, but he has told me on the air numerous times that he would take Drake May over Jalen Hurts. He'd take
And
Drake May
that's
over most quarterbacks in the NFL right now, which I think is way too early to anoint anybody. Let's see how much we're riding the Drake May train when that now schedule gets harder after being in the Super Bowl and making the run that they did, and reality slaps them in the face. I mean, the Bills are still the Bills. They're up. The rest of their division isn't really anything to fear at this moment in time. But it's going to get harder. You're going to go in and play teams, good teams somewhere. They had the best case scenario of a schedule last year. I think Denver is a much better team. I think Knicks is and the offense is only going to get better. They weren't even that good last year. I mean, it was definitely on the Denver defense. They were good at times, but not great. And if that offense gets better and that defense continues, you know, Denver's going to put the NFL on notice. And I agree. Right now, Denver is a better team than New England if 100% healthy. Currently, the
yeah.
situation.
I would agree with that. Oh, here's Ryan.
You go. If the Eagles trade AJ, they need yards after the catch power receiver to replace him, not just down the field threats. We all saw that when the team only has fast and small down the field veterans threats only. Need an after the yards guy to matter in the system coaching style. I'm not disagreeing with that, Ryan. I think you're pretty spot on. I think Devontae Smith kind of bucks the trend a little bit. He is smaller and faster, but he can play bigger and get the yards. But yes, it is the yards after the catch. I mean, what did we used to? Who was it? What was our last tight end? What
So
was it Selleck? Was it Selleck or I forget which one exactly, or was it Ertz that people used to get on him about the yards after the catch? No, yeah, it was
oh
no yak
so
Zach. No, it's no yak Zach. We used to call him no yak Zach, and I get it. I get it. Like that's a big thing, but again, it all comes down to dollars and cents and what makes sense to the organization and the best sense for Philadelphia. Not AJ Brown, not Jalen Hurts, not Saquon Barkley, for the Philadelphia Eagles. Because guys, and this is where this will be twice in the show that one of the hosts have agreed with a certain guy who lays in a coffin. I root for the team, right? I root for the Philadelphia Eagles. I wear a Philadelphia Eagles jersey. Do I have players that I like and I've gravitated towards? Yeah, I rarely gravitate towards the wide receiver guys or even the running backs, but I got myself a Devontae Smith jersey because he's that kind of player I like. He's he's a team player. He have a game where he doesn't get 3 balls thrown his way. and he still won't complain. You won't hear boo about him. You won't see anything. I'm sure any complaints or gripes he has, he'll take it right directly to the place that it needs to go, because that's the kind of character he is, and that's why and that's why AJ Brown's a squeaky wheel. He's going to get the grease because he squeaks that wheel.
Here's the thing, though. But I think if you look at it between that, you're going to see like AJ will be here. I think he'll get maybe 5 years here before he has to be moved on. Where a guy like Devontae will probably play his whole career here, or most likely. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like they'll keep trying to, because he's such a team guy. But Al, the thing that I really like that we were talking about with this Eagles team, right? Like if you look at their schedule, like right now, they're just their schedule. I think I'm going to bring it up if real quick just to show you guys something. This is their schedule for next year. Okay, and to be honest with you,
somebody appropriating my graphic designs.
I guess
I'm about to send a letter to management on this one, but keep going.
So to me, like I said, do I think the division? I think Washington's really, really going to take a step back. They are losing people left and right down there.
Don't forget who's making the decisions for them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, but if you're taking a look, like their road schedule, I'm going to be real honest with you. Really, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 4 tough road games out of their 8. You know what I mean? I don't think Arizona's going to be. I
always say I don't care how good or bad a team is in your division. It's a tough road game. Even the Giants, unless the Giants.
Yeah, they beat us last year up there. So yeah. I mean,
so you take 3 of those, and then San Fran and Chicago, I guess is where you're going with this, right?
Yeah. I think Jacksonville could be another tough test too, because they got a good team. But I really love the fact that we got all these teams here. Now the question is, which one of these teams? Because if you see left, I think it's only Mexico City and Brazil that are left. Okay, and the Eagles have to play in one of those games. I'm hoping they give them Mexico City because the Eagles already went to Brazil. I thought for sure they were going to give them the Sydney game because of Mailata being on the team. It would have made sense. As a matter of fact, there was a rumor last year, right, that the Eagles were supposed to get the Sydney game for this year, this 9th game. But I think the only ones that are left, I think it's Spain, Mexico City, and
they're doing like 9 games, aren't they? Like 9
international
games. It's like something nuts. Hold on 1 second here. I want to hit a couple of these real quick. If the Eagles didn't have another number 1 wide receiver in Devontae Smith, I wouldn't be trading a wide receiver talent wise like AJ. But the talent isn't equal to or greater than the drama that comes with him. Listen, Steve. I'm like in the same boat as you. Get what you can get for him. Don't just give him up for nothing. But I'm also not going to. It's like if the news broke right now or in the middle of the show, Eagles trade wide receiver AJ Brown, and it was for what I felt is an appropriate trade. You got the right haul for it, and you can make. I'm all about it. I'm not against it, and I am a little over the Diva-esque bull crap that comes along with them. But I think even the biggest AJ Brown fan will say the same. Ryan saying, I want AJ Brown because I love his style, but I don't trust him. I know he's outspoken and speaks the truth, but how he plays and he doesn't give it his all and stops trying when he doesn't get his way is why I don't trust him. Yeah, I think Ryan, we're on the same page on this one because we've seen it too much from him. When he doesn't get his way, he makes you all think it will change. That's why I want him gone. Yeah, and listen, we had the thing about the book on the sidelines, and he's like, that's how I find my inner peace. Okay, I'm okay with that. I wasn't upset. Hey, you're winning. You could read War and Peace for all I care. I mean, I'm not. You could do Mad Libs for all I give a shit. Like, go right ahead. But with that being said, there has been times, especially lately, when it feels like he's not getting his way. His feet literally are stuck in the sand, and he's just not. He's not legging it out. He's not diving for the ball. It's like, listen, we all knew the Eagles winning last year was going to be a bit of it wasn't an impossible task, but their offense would have had to make some significant change for them to be that way, to be a winner. And AJ kind of took on that personality that I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not going to put myself in harm's way for a team that just doesn't feel winner right this year. Maybe next year.
Right.
You can't have that.
Yo, I got the list right here. Melbourne, Australia. 49ers versus the Los Angeles Rams. All right.
That makes sense. Big teams, interdivisional or divisional
hold on
matchup. That's a good one for
San Francisco's got two. They have two international games this year.
Really? Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Jags get it. The Jags get two international, but that's because they own that.
Well, the Jags, it says London, UK, says Jacksonville Jaguars and Washington Commanders also. So that could be
Is the Jags both games?
No, there's 3 London games this year.
Are the Jags more than one, I guess, is my question.
It says London, 3 games include Jaguars, Commanders. So that's one game. Munich, Germany is the Lions. Okay. Madrid is the Falcons. And then it says at Mexico City. But when you look down here to see Mexico City, it has the San Francisco 49ers there. So the Dallas Cowboys are going to Brazil.
Good.
So they get that trip.
Book them a one-way ticket. They ain't coming back.
Yeah, Dallas has a game in Brazil. And it looks like the New Orleans Saints are in Paris. They're going to be in Paris this year. So we don't play Atlanta. We don't play New Orleans. So they're not going to Paris or Madrid. I think we do check the schedule again. Do we have Detroit on our schedule again? Or no? Let's take a look. No, we don't have Detroit. So you can rule out Munich. So
I wonder if it's London again. Now, you said it was 3 games in London, right?
Yeah, that's what it said here. It said,
you said it
says London, 3 games, including Jaguars, Commanders. So
now,
I don't know.
Is that including Jaguars and Commanders or together versus each other? Or is that including those 2 teams will be playing in one of those 3 games?
It just says London.
So
it says,
if that's true,
host cities. It says London has 3 games, which means they're going to be. I think 2 of them are at Tottenham Stadium, and the other one's across town in the other big state, Wembley. So Wembley gets one.
Wembley's owned by the Jags
owner. I know. So Wembley gets one, and I think Wembley gets 2, and the Wembley gets 2 and Tottenham gets the other one. So
I wouldn't be surprised if both Wembley games or Jags did last year. They stayed there for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. So I would imagine
surprised.
And
I would be surprised if the Eagles play Washington. If you're putting the Niners and the Rams in Australia, then maybe you put Eagles. Hopefully, it's our away game for the Washington one because, it's
not going to be because we have 9 home games. They're not going to have 9 home dates, so they're going to make sure that the Eagles are going to be a home team for one of these games. So, like I said, they do play Jacksonville. They play Jacksonville on the road. So you never know. Like that, if that's a home game for Jacksonville, the Eagles might be over there for 2 weeks because wasn't Minnesota over there for 2 weeks too? Last year, Minnesota did. They
were in Germany, right?
Yeah, but I think they were in Dublin too. They played Dublin one week and went to Germany the next week. They played the Steelers, I think. Yeah, they played the Steelers in Dublin. I remember that. But I thought they stayed over there because it was them and I think the Jags that stayed over there last year. But I just think it's funny because, the Eagles can literally play 3 games out of the United States this year because right now they're looking for – it looks like the San Francisco-Los Angeles Rams game, that might be a Rams home game, and the 49ers got to go there. But the 49ers are hosting the Mexico City game.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that might be
usually the West Coast teams are hosting the Mexico City games. Yeah, Rob, I believe that's true too. Do you ever think that London will get a team? Elf in the room wants to know. I think what they're doing right now is they're trying to to test that by bringing their marquee teams over. And that's why you're going to see teams like the Eagles come over because our fans travel, and these are like our boys over at Philly Sports Trips. They're willing to put around not just a couple guys going to England. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Eagles fans coming over, but also to see if the fan base that's not Philadelphia, that's not that would show up, and would it work if you have three? Think about it. You're putting 3 games this year in London, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me you're not testing the water to see how it would be. Teams are complaining. Listen, they're exhausted. It's not fair. Or whatever.
Listen, I'm waiting to see them literally make a new division and call it the NFL Europe division. Like I seriously,
are you going to incorporate them into the current NFL, or are you going to try to create another NFL Europe? I don't know. I
don't think they're going to do NFL Europe. Like there's so many things right now. Like there's a lot of uncertainty too. Like the Canadian Football League, they're kind of dwindling a little bit. Like I imagine, would they take some of their teams and kind of I know it's a different type of football game up there. It's a wider field and whatever, but the guys know how to play football. Most of them came from the States to go up there to play, so they know how to play American football. You know what I mean? Would those teams be like Toronto's been a hotbed for NFL football? They've been wanting a team, so there's a lot of things you could do, and I really do. I think within the next decade, Al, I think there will be a division that's going to be an NFL Europe division. I really do.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you right now, they are testing those waters. That's what they're doing right now.
All I'm saying is
would this be viable? Would this
listen? The first time the London Monarchs, because they're going to they already have the names, so it's not like they have to brand them or anything. So the first time the London Monarchs come to the link to play the Eagles, I think I'm going to go. The boys are playing in Rio. Yes, they are, Dave. So be prepared.
Yeah. They got. I heard Jerry got a plane. It's a little rickety. Has some chickens on it because he's just trying to cut some corners, make things happen. You guys just got to sit on the chicken crates while they fly down there, and then he'll just have
interesting to see who they play.
Some patchwork parachutes for everybody to jump out of the plane because he can't land it; it'd be too expensive.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see what that matchup is for down there because that's going to be a Friday game. That's probably going to be week 1 Friday.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, I don't disagree with that. Hey, let's change gears a little bit here because we've been on
NFL for the whole hour almost. Yeah,
I know. I don't want to not give it its due. So let's talk about your fight in Phils. And a lot of the question has been, Mike Lauro, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Are people too down on the Phillies?
Yeah, they are.
Are people not seeing that the Phillies are a viable contender, or is it the same smokescreen we've seen all the years? They're going to be good, but then they're going to pass the bed.
They were the second best team last year I'll say they were second best team in the National League. Now, were they flawed? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and say they weren't flawed. I watched a ton of games. Okay, I was on the call. I was on the post game for a ton of them, but I still feel like they're the second best team in the National League, and I don't think they're getting the credit that they deserve. A lot of these prognosticators are, everybody's jumping back on the Braves bandwagon if they stay healthy. Well, guess what? They have a proven track record that they can't stay healthy. So again, and do I think the Mets got better? A little. But I'd be surprised if the Mets win 90 games this year. I think the Mets. I think the Mets are an 85-win team with that payroll. Now they did go out and get some. They lost a lot.
They lost a lot. They went out. Listen. They went and they got Juan Soto, and that didn't do a lick of good for them in the long run. Now it's one. I'm not saying that they did get Bo Bichette, who in my eyes,
that's a wait and see.
Listen, it's kind of a good thing for both sides, and I'm telling you, I think this is where the Major League Baseball is going. It's more for your big names, not for your mediocre names. But these bigger contracts that you can get out of pretty quickly, because would you could sit there and bitch and moan, oh, we just wasted 30 some million on a player, but you're only stuck with him for a year
Yeah.
if you
I
don't
think
want
I, I think that's going to be the way to go, especially after next year. I don't think there's going to be any baseball next year, so
him.
I think it's really going to be locked down, and it's a shame because the last strike killed baseball for a long time. They got the fans so mad that the fans didn't want to come out. Like I remember, like when baseball started back up, you know, it was really something. People like marquee matchups. Your rivals would come to town. Like I remember going to a Phillies Mets like series. I went to the whole series uh, because you could walk up and get tickets. Like there was no waiting. You could just walk. I mean, you could always walk up and get tickets at the vet anyway because the vet had 60 some thousand for baseball. But I just remember like not even fan, like not even. I met like two Mets fans that like drove down from New York just to watch the game because they love baseball, and they're like, "Dude, this is nuts." Like there was, for I'm talking the whole series. I think the upper level was like sporadic. And that
Mhm.
was never like that for Phillies Mets. No matter what the teams look like, Phillies Mets was always sold out, either here or at Shea. You know what I mean? With the fan bases. And it's like, I just remember that strike almost killing baseball. And I think we're heading towards that. And I think it's going to be a long strike, man. So
Well, I know when
enjoy it.
they interviewed Bryce. Bryce says somebody asked him, he's like, just in your heart, do you feel like there's going to be delayed? He's like that there's going to be a strike that's going to delay baseball next year. He said yes. He's like, do you think it'll be for the whole year or longer? He goes, no. The integrity of the game is the most important. I'm like, well, but after the heroics of Team America or for Team USA and the Olympic hockeys and Olympic hockey and just how amazing that gold game was, Canada versus America. I mean, just like I said, there's few games that I want to go back and watch over and over and over again. Like I can go back and watch the clipped out, take the commercials out version of a game. That will be one of them. But I know I've always said I don't want my players playing in the World Baseball Classic before a season because we've seen injuries and all that stuff can happen. But I'm not saying I don't love the World Baseball Classic. So right last night we had some heroics from Schwarbombs dropping them on Great Britain, just teaching Great Britain that America's still number one. You'll never you try to bully us 250 plus years ago, and
Oh, history lesson time with L. Here we go.
it's not going to work. But right now, Team USA in Pool B as they call it, they're 2-0 right now. Of course, winning against I think Brazil and Great Britain so far. Italy is 1-0 with. I was going to bring up Dante Nore is the young prospect. He's a blue claw technically right now. Had 2 home runs in the game. So they're 1-0 right now. Mexico's 1-0, and Britain and Brazil are 0-2 right now. In Pool C, Australia is 2-0. Japan is 2-0. I don't know if this is. I think they're saying China is 2-2, which can't be correct, right? They've played four
Chinese
games.
Taipei.
Yeah,
Chinese Taipei. Yeah, they
yeah.
played 4 games. They've been
They
playing
played
in
four.
Japan. Yeah, they played in Japan. So they've been
Huh?
playing over there. So
I didn't know they're the only team with 4 games so far. That's why I was really confused if that was a typo or not. Korea is 1-2, and the Czech is 0-3. Of course, Japan with Otani and Suzuki
I'll
are
tell you
just
what, Chinese Taipei gave them a run for their money the other night.
all right.
They gave them a run for their money. They're playing. This is what I don't get. Like you're talking about this. Like this is why I said this would be perfect for after the World Series. If you guys want to go play in some baseball, this would be perfect to go because they're having preliminaries in Houston, in Japan, Miami. Like there's certain sites for this. Like all these teams that are in the Asia that are in over in Asia, they got to fly back over here now. So they were here, had to fly over there to go play games, and then now they got to come back here. Like I think you should just have a championship site, whether it be in Mexico, whether it be, you know, spread it around. Put it in Venezuela. put it in Nicaragua. I think you would get more, out of it. Like I'm talking about just your champion, your out of pool play. I
Well,
would keep the pool play like somewhere close. You know what I mean? Like go do Miami, Tampa. You can do Miami. You can do Texas. You can do San Diego. You could run all those for after the World Series. You run them down, and then you do the championship game at whatever your Final Four. Your Final Four teams go down to Nicaragua, go down to Mexico, go down to you know Venezuela or wherever, the Caribbean. Like to me, like doing this now when they're supposed to be in spring training, like to me makes no sense because now what's going to happen is they're going to play this little tournament, then they got to come back up, and now our season starts literally within 20 days. So they're going to go play a tournament, and then you have to come back with their team
the
and get ready.
championship game would be March 17th. So that means it'll be 9 days if 9 days until the start of the season.
Right. So you would have to. So now they got to fly back to their wherever. Right. They got to. I mean, if they're in Florida, Harper and the Phillies guys only got to go. They can just drive. You know what I mean, or catch a little flight back over to Tampa, and they're good. But again, it's these other guys. You know what I mean? Like they're going to have to go. It's like I said, we've seen it with injuries. Edwin Diaz blew his leg, blew his Achilles. Doing a jump celebration. Like I mean.
Yeah. I don't love it. I don't love all-star games as much in the middle of the season as well. I think the NFL does it right. The only people really not going to want to compete in that part of it is the people who are going to the Super Bowl, and that's fine. Let them focus on the Super Bowl and let everybody else get their time. And they're putting it on Tuesdays because nobody cares about the actual game itself anymore.
No.
Right now, today's notable matchup probably be your Japan versus Australia, both undefeated teams. To make to see if who will that's actually that already started. Actually, that was early. Let me see if it was if there's any update on the score. Japan won 4-3. Sorry, yeah, they were a 6 a.m. game.
Jesus, yeah. The next one's
nobody's getting up because technically it's 5 a.m. in people's head.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll
tell you what, though, if you want to watch Dante Noor, they play Great Britain today on Tubi.
That was what I was going to say. You'll be seeing it's a Tubi. It's a free Tubi game, right?
Yeah, that's at 1:00, and then you have Nicaragua and Israel at 7 on Tubi. The Fox game is actually Netherlands and the Dominican Republic is on Fox.
Yeah. Then tomorrow, United States versus Mexico. That's the big game right there. I'm trying to see what's the time on that one.
I'm looking. 8 p.m. on Fox.
8 p.m. Okay, so that's gonna be watch. I'm gonna watch that game.
I'll have both. I'll be watching this and then watching the Flyers because the Flyers play the Rangers.
And then they also play Team Italy. So Dante Noor and who's the other guy? It's like another Italian name. I wonder if Aaron Nola is going to pitch against Team USA.
Yeah, that's at 9:00 on FS1 on Tuesday.
9 p.m.
Yeah, 9 p.m. That game starts
because it's in Italy. Let's see. I was upset with Adolis signing at first, but I got over it when I remember that Nick Castellanos and Max Kepler manned the position last year. Adolis is a great defender and has pop. Listen. Everybody was kind of upset. Oh, all we get is Adolis.
I wasn't.
I was like, listen, I know the Phillies are well known for like trying to resurrect guys' careers, trying to make lightning strike twice. But a change in scenery for him could help. Defensively, he's never been an issue. And in my eyes, if he's as streaky as Castellanos, you trade one for the other. But I think Adolis has a lot of upside, and I agree with the elephant in the room. I was never really down on him, but I just think everybody was hoping to get a big name, and I think, and then the Bo Bichette thing happened, and I think that played and left kind of a distaste in people's mouth about the Phillies and all. I think Castellanos and Adolis are close to each other offensively, but defensively, Nick isn't in the same universe as Adolis.
Yeah, I want to see how many home runs Nick hits out at that pitcher-friendly ballpark in San Diego.
Yeah. And
too.
here's my thing. Can I just point this out? Like I see people posting his stats for the spring. Come on, man. Come on, man. We
You know,
gotta let it go. Stop sitting there and watching him because you want to see him fail, or you want to rub it in people's faces because he's not failing, or whatever the reasoning behind it is. Like that's how I look. Like, come on, man.
yeah, like we have, we have we have Garcia, and I like Adolis Garcia. I think, like this dude was hitting bombs out of that ballpark in Arlington, which is almost the same uh same kind of design as the one in San Diego. It's a pitcher's ballpark, and the dude was hitting crazy home runs out of there. So can you imagine what's going to happen when he comes to this bandbox? And I'll say this: there's no more of a Casty guy than me. I followed Castellanos since his days in Detroit. Okay, and I was so stoked when he signed here 4 years ago. So stoked. I was like,
I
yes,
was super happy. Don't get me wrong.
yes.
I was very much on getting Nick Castellanos. I was also at the same time saying I thought he got paid a lot even then for one good year, but that's baseball.
Right.
And Nick Castellanos, a lot like AJ Brown, is like he's an up and down guy. Like you hear him being a locker room guy, but he has his diva moments. The biggest difference is he brought on a championship for us. AJ
Right.
Brown. Nick
Right.
Castellanos did not. And I listen, I'm going to say this again, and then we'll move on to another part of conversation here I want to point out. But, Nick Castellanos, he was a good player. And like I said, he had his moments, but you noticed when a player leaves that the team really likes, when the players really like a guy and things like this go down, man, he's going to be missed. Getting an energy guy like that in the locker room, he really knows how to bring the team together. Blah 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 blah, all that stuff. You always hear those kind of things. There's a way players know how to, like, without making management look stupid, that they're going to miss a guy that they got rid of, right?
Yeah,
I didn't get that from anybody.
Anybody.
Not
No.
Schwarber. Schwarber's
Nobody.
the biggest one to me. I played that video 40 times. Like, am I overseeing?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I wish him well. And I was like, oh, damn.
It's like, oh, I heard you just broke up with this girl. Yeah, good luck to her and her new boyfriend. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like see you later.
That kind of opened my eyes too, because Turner kind of said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Harper,
it's like they all kind of like, all right, let's meet. If they ask you about it, what are you guys all saying?
right?
Like that's kind of what it felt like to me. But so some of the big news, again, I'm like saying people are looking past because of all the Eagles, the football stuff and all that. But Andrew Painter looking pretty good right now.
I think he gets to start today.
Yep. He's been pretty impressive so far. 3 scoreless innings in his recent game. Showing command and velocity upwards of 97 miles per hour. If he breaks this out, which I don't see him not doing it outside of just completely falling apart, he'll be probably the most watched young arm in Major League Baseball, not just in Philadelphia, but in Major League Baseball, because this was the eggs in the basket situation for the Philadelphia Phillies, Mike Lauro. They've had opportunities to parlay Andrew Painter into some really good players, but the Phillies sat on their laurels and said,
no.
And sometimes you got to do that because you got to take a chance on your guys because financially it makes sense for you.
Well, you got to look at it this way too. I mean, if he takes that next step, then guess what? The writing's on the wall for one Aaron Nola. You know what I mean?
Is it? I mean, he's under contract. How much writing's on the wall for Aaron Nola at this point?
I think there's.
I think honestly, you know what? I'm going to give. This is my call it a bold prediction. I don't know how bold it is. Aaron Nola is going to have a bounce back year. I'm not going to sit there and say ace pitcher, but a solid B. I think he could be that guy. And if you have any resemblance to the previous Aaron Nola, and you have a 1-2-3 punch of a healthy Zach Wheeler, a Christopher Sanchez, and Aaron Nola and Andrew Painter, I'm not expecting more than a good 5, maybe a hot.
Aaron's number 4. He's 4 in this rotation, bub. Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm gonna put. I'm putting Jesus in front of him.
Not this year. This year.
I am.
Unless Andrew Painter comes out like gangbusters, I don't. You got to let the guy kind of get his feet wet before we start anointing him to anything.
No, I'm talking about Jesus Luzardo. Like people forget about him.
I know.
You forget about him. Like he's my pitcher. He's my
Well,
pitcher to have a bounce back year. I think he's going to have a bounce back year.
I don't think he would be considered a bounce back. I think he had a good year last year.
He did, but I think he's going to improve on that. That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to improve.
Contract year too for him, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the Phillies are going to try to work out to where they have him, Christopher Sanchez. You have Zach Wheeler. Nolan's going to be 4. Maybe Nolan may even be a 5th option. It all depends on how Painter.
But if Nolan can play, here's my thing: is I think people are misunderstanding me. I'm not saying he would be your number 3 guy. I'm saying is he can be and play like a number a low 2, a high 3, but be in that 4 or 5 hole. That's huge.
Oh
that's
yeah.
Huge for us.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And like I said, Dave's saying he's your number 4 too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Who does number 4 work for?
But Al, can we switch gears? Because I don't know about you, man, but I'm a little flyered up this morning. Okay, I am a little flyered up. Big win last night. Big win. Our counterpart in the morning, or I should say in the evening, thinks it's a little too late for this team. I don't. If you're looking at the standings right now, let me see the standings. I'm going to bring them up right here. Flyers right now are 4 points behind the Blue Jackets, and they're still like, was it? They're 7 points behind the Penguins, okay, and they're literally 8 points down from the Islanders. If you're looking at it, the Flyers right now have the Penguins. Islanders have 2 games. We have 2 games in hand on the Islanders. We have 2 games in hand on them, on the Capitals as well. So they have a chance really to really kind of make some ground up. I think in this, I guess in the not the division, but the conference. I mean, considering all their games are all conference games. This week. I mean, if you're looking at it, the only game that's not a conference game this week, Al, is the Wild on Wednesday or Thursday, which, by the way, I will be having that. But when you're looking at it, I'm really, if you're looking over we'll go to their last 6 games, man. They're 4-2. They lost coming out of the break to the Capitals. They lost 3-1. They were kind of lackluster, but then they beat the Rangers in OT. In New York again, a team that's really kind of has kind of had their way with the Flyers over the last few years. Okay, they beat the Rangers in OT. Then last Saturday, they beat a very good Bruins team, who's ahead of them in the standings. Again, another team that's basically kind of owned us over the last couple of years. Then they go to, Toronto last Monday. Okay, get a big win in overtime. And, again, another team that we haven't found a way to beat. We beat, 3-2, again, in a shootout. Now, the only dud they had was Thursday night. And I came on here after the game and I said it was a wasted opportunity. All because, and I'm going to tell you, all the teams that were in front of the Flyers that night, they all lost. They all lost. I mean, you had – literally, they had a chance to really kind of gain some ground because the Islanders lost back-to-back. Now, they did win last night because they, God forbid they get swept out on the West Coast. But and then last night, they go and they beat Pittsburgh yesterday in a shootout. So, I mean, for me, man, listen, I'm looking at this as, I think they have a chance. I mean, I think they really, truly
listen, there's a chip in the chair scenario for the Flyers right now. The problem with the Flyers, and I get Matty B's point a little bit. I hate coming to agreements with him, but whatever. Is that we've seen this song and dance a couple of years in a row now. They either came out hot, they look like they could be contenders, at least, I mean not contenders, like at least make a playoff bid. But they, like you said, they est the bet against teams that they should win against, or they should be able to make ground against, and that's the kind of stuff that continues to happen, and until it kind of changes the scenario or changes the routine, it's going to be hard for people to get on board. And I get it. I get the 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 hesitation to buy in. But I mean, it's tougher sledding than I think it looks. I mean, they're only a few points behind Boston, who's the last wild card spot, at 75. They're at 75. The Flyers are at 69 points.
Right, they're
So,
7 points back. But I mean, if you look at it, if you really look at it, Ottawa's 2 points ahead of them, and Columbus is 4 points ahead of them. So
mhm.
I mean, they're right there, and you know, you got to say, I mean, they've been playing really good, and they were able to kind of jump up. Like I don't think, and you also got to keep in mind too, the 2 and 3 are right there for taking as well. I mean, if you're looking at it, okay, Pittsburgh's got they're third in the division, but they have 76 points. The Islanders have 77. So the Flyers are within striking distance, and they play. If I remember, let me see the Flyers real quick. Let me go in their schedule because they literally play this month. They play Columbus next Saturday. Okay, then they do a Western trip where they play Anaheim, the Kings, and then they play the San Jose Sharks. Before they come home, they play Columbus and Chicago at home. Before they go to Detroit, they have a back to back, and towards the end of this month, and I think that's going to be where you could see them try to catch them because they play. This is a really good back to back, though. Honestly, they're at Detroit on the 28th, 29th. They come home and play Dallas, who if you've been hearing me all year, I've been saying Dallas is going to be my Western Conference representative in the Stanley Cup. But that's where, and then they finish off April. I mean, April, they got some really, really, I guess, clutch games, really, if you look at it. They play the Islanders. They
Mhm.
play Detroit twice. They got games with the Devils, the Bruins, the Canadians, and the Hurricanes, along with the Winnipeg Jets. So, I mean, they have a legitimate, they got a shot. They got a
Listen,
legit
there's a
shot
chip in
to.
the chair right now. They're not mathematically out of it. Um, the
they're not.
point,
They're not 15 points behind. They're only 7.
yeah, it's the point differential for the way they've been playing that has to continue to get better because the teams in front of them outside the Red Wings are all in the green and they're negative 13 right now. So they need to really, they've had some pretty bad beats over the season. So that's a big area where they need to fix it. But listen, I'm not betting the house on it. That's just all I'm saying. I'm not betting the house on it anytime soon.
Well,
But
I'm homering it up because I think they're getting in. I think they're getting in, and I'm going to let you know this now. I think they get in.
Mike,
That is a
I would gladly lose that bet to you, and have you over for a nice meal and a beer and a game, dude. Because I nothing would make this boy happier than a little Flyers playoff hockey.
I think the Flyers come back. I think they get either the second or the third uh, position uh, in the division. I don't think it. I don't think they're going to. I don't. I think they're going to catch them because if you take a look, I looked last night, just kind of doing a little bit of research. Pittsburgh's got a tremendous, I mean, really, really tough schedule coming up. They have they got a banger stretch too. So does Buffalo, who's ahead of them, or I forgot who was above them. The Islanders got a tough stretch of games coming up. So again, it is definitely doable. Boston's got they got a hellacious schedule coming up. So I mean, it's there. Now the Flyers have to go and do it. So, and I think they will.
Yeah, I listen. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just not going to bet the house on it at this moment. Let's see how the next week plays out before they have what I say like 20 games left in the rest of the season. Let's see how this week plays up.
Yeah. Well, let's see how. Now, question: What's Al Safiri having for today's dinner festivities, buddy?
That's an amazing question, dude. Do you know what today is going to be? And it's not going to be an answer to the question that you want, but it's going to be the answer to the question that's probably how it's going to come about. Is I always every Sunday I get done here, do the good Catholic thing, and then I go stop and see my grandmother over at the home. But I think when I come home, I'm going to stop at the food store, and it's going to be hit the aisle and come up with an idea type thing. Because right now, I was so busy this weekend between my wife's birthday and I had a charity event I was running. That's why my voice is a little hoarse this morning because I was emceeing for 4 or 5 hours straight. And if I had stayed up and do this show right now, I would have probably collapsed because my legs. I was on my feet for about 6 hours straight.
Oh
I'm
man.
actually right now as we're talking, just trying to see what the weather is, and it's gonna be 68 degrees today, just cloudy. Maybe Mike Laro.
You're
I
firing
might
up the grill.
fire up the smoker a little bit. That's what I'm
Uh,
feeling. That's what I'm feeling.
yeah,
Some
you're going.
chicken,
You're
some
going.
chicken on a smoker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Some chicken
yeah.
wings.
Okay. You going to do some smoked baked mac and cheese?
It's a family favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know how much energy I have for that. So it's either going to be that or I might make a nice Italian meal. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, that's where we are going. The home foreman Jamie decided that we are going to probably do chicken parm with pasta uh today. So yeah, we're gonna do a little
Wait, what are
Italian
you
dinner.
taking up for Pat now? Like
No. Like
is
we
the
were gonna do.
pasta industry taking a hit since he's been off the show with us or something? Like what's going on here?
I don't know, man. Apparently on his show he's still doing it. So
Still
but
doing pasta?
yeah,
I
I
want
guess.
I want to walk into his house one day and open up his cupboards and just see boxes and boxes of pasta. Like that's all they eat. That's all he eats. That's all he knows.
Yeah. That's all, Uh, most got a lot to deal with. So,
Just like said the noodle for the noodles,
Right. Exactly. Um,
tea tonight. All right, Dave. All
there
right,
you go.
boy. That's yeah. Listen,
That's a classic.
I that I make a BLT system. I'm very particular, and I like to make my own homemade because I get to I go up to the counter and ask them to slice me the bacon like real thick, so I make it like almost slabs. And the bread. The bread is the most important. I don't do white toast or wheat bread. It's like loaf, like the stuff you get pre-sliced and loaf. I go up to the counter and get the bread. I slice it myself. Like that's the way it's supposed to be made.
Oh,
That
okay, yeah. So,
that's
so
actually a
you
good
get the
idea.
slices of bread that are like that thick, that are like that
Like
long, and
real
like this,
loaf. Yeah.
yeah, and like that thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glucose killer right there.
Well, I know. Trust me, I know. That's why I don't eat many of those sandwiches. I remember as a getting like a BLT from like a diner. I'm like, ugh, I literally just paid for toast, like no eggs. Just give me some eggs. I guess at this point, it's an omelet.
Yeah.
You know. But other than that, guys, I want to thank you all for joining us, and for those who are able to wake up this morning and say, you know what, I'm not taking a nap. I'm not sleeping in today and taking that extra hour. I want to hang out with Mike. Texas Toast, yeah, Rob, that's what I'm talking about. With Mike and Al. I want to continue my trend on Sunday mornings. So, guys, we appreciate you as always. I appreciate you. I know this man next to me appreciates you. Have a great Sunday. Go Team USA for World Baseball Classic. A lot to come up with that. This week's going to be a busy week. I mean, we're going to have a ton to talk about. I'll see you guys back on Friday. I know it wasn't this Friday. It was the wife's birthday. So I told you guys that before. There was no way in hell I wasn't missing that.
Hold on. Before we go, let's make sure we do this. Clear the
Oh,
ice schedule. Clear the ice schedule for this week. I have you guys tomorrow night and Thursday. Maddie has you Wednesday and Saturday. And speaking of Maddie, there it is, the final word. That's right. He should
so
be
serious. So serious.
so serious.
Oh, by the way, go on our social media. I don't know if I think it's on Twitter only. I'm not sure if he posted in the other ones. He had some video of him umping. I think he
yes.
I think he threw dirt in a kid's eye at one point, if I remember.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Teach him
You're
a
a 17-year-old out of the game.
Yeah. Teach him a life lesson.
Life lesson. But yeah, make sure you get on him about his umpiring skills.
Yeah. Tell him it was a bad call. Bad call. Bad call. Come on,
make
Blue.
sure you go and just tell him. Say, now we know why you wear glasses. So
Wow. And
Yeah.
other than that, for Mike Lauro, I'm Big Al. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the day. Enjoy your family. We'll see you guys all next time.